Welcome back to another episode of Future Fridays. With me today is Paisley Bennett, the Edgewood College Program Director. Paisley, thank you for taking some time and joining us on this Future Friday.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
To kick us off here, why don't you go ahead and give us a little introduction to who you are, a little bit about your background, and what drove you to pursuing collegiate esports?
Yes, so I'm Paisley. Um, Born and raised in Wisconsin. Did leave for a little bit, but traditionally I was a three-sport athlete. Grew up playing video games. Started with Duck Hunt. Made my way through NES, Super Nintendo, N64, all the PlayStations. So I pretty much grew up with gaming, but spent a lot of time outdoors. I didn't really consistently play until I was 14, and that was Call of Duty. So I was consistently playing that, not really thinking anything of it, didn't know you could really do a career or anything with video games because that really wasn't the atmosphere at the time. So I primarily focused on traditional sports throughout college. And then in 2019, I want to say. I was getting my third degree at Madison College, and an email came through my inbox saying that they were starting an esports team and were looking for players. And at that time, I didn't know what esports was, but I was like, cool, I can play video games. This sounds like fun. So I joined, um, played Madden for the first semester, hated every minute of it. But somehow they got me to stick around. I think it's because we brought on Call of Duty the second semester. Somehow I convinced them. Uh, so we stuck around, did 4v4 Call of Duty, then transitioned into solo Warzone. So I was about a player for a year and a half. Sounds about right. But I didn't know anything about Discord or Twitch, so I was just coming in from pure hobby playing and learned all of the tricks of the trade um, by researching and like just figuring it out. After I was done playing, I came on as staff. I ended up coaching the Warzone team at Madison College and then doing all the graphic design work and helped with production. When I finished that, so at that time I was working four jobs. So yeah, I was at Starbucks. I was a personal trainer, coaching at Madison College, and then I was lucky enough actually to get a role with the Minnesota Rocker and Version 1 doing graphic editing with their new program at the time, the Vibe Squad. And that really like solidified that that's what I wanted to do. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved coaching and working with Madison College, but I was like, oh, graphic editing with the pro teams is really fun. And then I got to do two LAN events with them, which was even more fun because who doesn't like to be in that atmosphere? Um, and I got to play on stage for a little bit. So, like, 14-year-old me playing Call of Duty on a pro setup was like geeking out. It was fine. And then so we did all that, and Danny, the former Edgewood director, actually reached out to Joe at Madison College and recommended me for the job over here. And I've never met Danny in person, so it was kind of funny that he knew my name, that my name was going around the state. Um, yeah, so I applied here, and here we are, 3 years later. We're vibing.
It's funny because I often say most of my decisions in esports are to make 14-year-old Mike happy, and like would I have thought this was cool as a freshman in high school? And if the answer is yes, then it's like yeah, that's my guiding principle to
Yep.
some of my decision making. Um, so now as the program director at Edgewood, can you give us some insight to the number of teams that you're coordinating, like the number of leagues that you're in. How do you handle like practices and scrimmages, um, and just what kind of roles are there for students as well?
Yeah, so each year it's been interesting. So when I took over the program, we were only are in our we were going into our second year as a varsity title, well, varsity program under athletics, and so it was a lot of kind of, um, reworking and still trying to figure it out. Like, what do we want Edgewood esports to look like? And at that time, we had 5, 6 titles. We were playing in NACE, the Blizzard Collegiate Homecoming for Overwatch, WCRL for Rocket League, and um, CeeLo and CVAL, I think, on top of NACE. So our primary league was NACE all year round, and then we played inside tournaments. And that, for the most part, worked out. We then decided to last year we changed it up a bit with leagues because like things were happening with NACE, so we switched over to ECAC, and I think that was a good choice for us. All our games are set Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Central Time, so it makes that consistency. So you don't have to be like, when's the game this week? When's the game next week? For sure it's going to be on Monday at 7 p.m., unless we have to reschedule, obviously, but we can do that ahead of time. And last year was chaotic with schedules. We had 6 different titles going throughout the week. Rocket League played in 4 different leagues. So they played in ECAC. We did WEC in the fall, WCRL in the spring, CRL, both fall and the spring. So I think we had over 300 plus games of just Rocket League last year, which was insane. Um, I mean, the results showed up. We did great. We got 29th, ranked 29th in the nation, 24 finishes, a top 12 finish, second place in the fall in the state, third place nationally in the state, and first place in the spring. So like all those games paid off. And then this year we have 8 titles, but only 5 of them are competing due to rosters. And we're playing ECAC right now. I kind of decided to bring it back to basics. And I think we got a little too carried away. So we're bringing it back, and we're just going to focus on one league for now. And we'll see what next year brings. I'm not 100% sure. I think we're going to just focus on 4 main titles and really put our resources into just the 4 main for the varsity program. Not saying we won't have other titles for kids to play, but we'll just really pour our resources into 4. With that being said, our main titles will be Rocket League, Valorant, Fortnite question mark, and I say that because who knows where that's going. Overwatch or Rivals, depending on what those look like. And then we'll have Smash and sports games, but those won't be like main titles. So people can still play them. They just might not have like full coaching or production support for that.
Do you have a number of coaches for each game then too, or is it kind of like a student leader captain role for them?
Yeah, so it depends on the title. I would love to have a game coach for every game, but that comes with budget. If we have it, great. If we don't, then we don't. I for sure have a Valorant coach and an Overwatch coach, and then a Rocket League coach. So the main titles are covered. I oversee Fortnite. Uh, Being a Warzone player, you'd think you could transfer those skills over to Fortnite. Yeah. If you don't build, no, you can't. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, 0 build? I got this because that's what we started with. We had a 0 build team, and I was like, cool. this is transferable. We can do this. And then the past 2 years, we've had a build team, and I'm like, yeah, so just build your things and we'll figure it out. I actually last year hired a pro Fortnite coach to help in the areas that I didn't know, and that was very beneficial. So I would love to get back to that aspect of things because I can cover comms, I can cover rotations and stuff like that. It's just when it comes to building, I can't catch up. I was never a Fortnite player. So to put in the hours of building and learning all of that, that's just not possible. But
I'm right there with
oh
you. So
yeah,
when no build came out, I got very excited because I was like, cool, 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 cool. I'm back on even playing field here.
yep.
Um, I hear you with that one. I guess with everything that you have going on for teams and whatnot, do you have supports in place to help students maintain that academic balance with this? Um, Kind of like doing like grade checks as well or study nights and stuff like that to make sure that they're maintaining eligibility.
Yeah, so it's interesting because so like traditional sports, they have an off season, right? So they can really establish those study nights and make that more consistent. It's a lot harder in esports, I feel like, because we are playing fall and spring and sometimes winter, depending how far into the season we go. So I encourage study hall for everybody. We actually this year in our Discord, I added a homework help channel. My wife has generously offered her time to tutor for outside of normal tutor help. So she makes herself available to come and help kids when they may need extra help or like establish those study sessions, whether they're in person or via Discord. On top of that, I do run grade checks around midterm time, so this week actually. Um, but it's nice because Edgewood has this system that I get academic early alerts for your from teachers. So we are pretty much on top of players if there's any kind of concern, whether it's grades, attendance, whatever it may be. I can see that, and then I'll reach out to the players and be like, "Hey, I just received this. Just want to check in. Like, how can I help you?" And depending on the situation, we will meet with the players. By we, I mean me, because all my coaches are remote. So if there's the team captain, depending if they can handle it, we will meet with the player and they kind of step up with me to help keep the players accountable. And we do we it differs in the situation to just keep them on track, whether it's attendance, missing homework, etc. And because ultimately you're here for a degree, right? Um, so we want to make sure you are thriving in academics, and if you are struggling, we want to get that help for you before it becomes an issue. Because if you're on scholarship, you have to maintain a 2.75 GPA to keep it. And if you go below that, you lose the scholarship. And I know that adds more stress to players if they
Sure,
lose that. So we do everything in our power to keep the grades up, and whether that's you sit in my office at my secondary desk and I help you, or we sit in the arena and do it. Um, we figure it out. It's per basis per
sure.
student. So
I think that's a nice system in place, especially the early grade checks, because then at least then you can get ahead of the curve, or at least you have a week in order to be like, okay, we have a week to figure this out so that you can maintain this, or that you can keep your scholarship, and that I guess kind of answers our scholarship and financial aid question. But I mean, I guess. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to that type of scholarship or financial support that Edgewood offers for incoming players? Is there a process to apply, or is it on, um, I guess, whoever asks for one kind of gets one? Or
yeah, so our scholarships, we have a scholarship fund essentially. So we're allotted an X amount. And you don't have to apply for it, but you have to attend a tryout essentially. So we host each year, well, each semester, the tryouts differ. We have to, it's hard to run them once we start season, like the actual season, but we try to run it during breaks because collegiate players and high school players usually have the same breaks when it comes to like Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of that. So, um, to be considered for an esports scholarship, you attend a tryout and you're playing with other recruits and the current team. You're getting essentially, I can't even think of the word, but scouted essentially
Hmm.
uh, by not only myself, but the game coach. So the game coach is more focused on looking at the mechanics, game knowledge, and comms of that aspect. And I'm over here taking notes, kind of looking more so at, are they coachable? I mean, the game coach is also looking at that, but coachability, um, attitude, and just general things like that. So after that process happens, then the coach and I meet and we discuss it. And it's nice because our scholarships is on a sliding scale. So we have a base set, and then say somebody is insanely good, we can give a little bit more. Um, but when you come in, if you come in on the base level and say your freshman year, you were you finished way better than what you were in the tryout, we could give you more for the next year.
Hmm.
So you're not just stuck with the base level. As long
There's
as we have the
incentive to
funds for it,
perform,
there's incentive.
basically.
Yeah. The only thing is though with our scholarships, I can't give them to current players. So if you come here without a scholarship and you did really good, I can't like post date it
Mm.
for your sophomore year, which is unfortunate. I'm trying to rework that. So that's why scholarships can have benefits. And don't know how many schools in Wisconsin have it, but I can tell you we are the only one in Madison as of right now that offers, out of the three schools that has esports for the collegiate level, that does scholarships. But with that, it stacks with your other financial aid here at Edgewood, so you don't have to pick and choose. So you can still get all your academic ones, any outside scholarships, and the esports scholarship.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Makes it way more affordable than sometimes what the sticker price may look like. There's always some aid available. So,
Yeah, I
um,
know people freak out when they see the big number, and I'm like, hold on,
yeah.
get your FAFSA in, get all your scholarships in. That number will go down, I promise.
As I attended a private school for my first year of college, and yeah, I think almost a third of it was covered by financial aid, and I was not a stellar student by any stretch of the imagination. So, um,
You and me both.
um, so as we're talking about incoming recruitment players and playing in general, can you kind of also then give us a little bit of insight as to what your facilities look like, kind of equipment that's available, if there's any other like packages, say like a gym membership or something like that, so that way you can maintain some healthy habits as well for gaming?
Yeah, so we just moved in, not just, it's been 2 years. Um, we got a new arena when I started here. And so previously the old arena only housed 12 PCs and two TVs. This new one, we have a total of 18 PCs at this current moment, with the option to upgrade to 24 total unless I rearrange again to make more space. Um, two TVs. There is a PC between the TVs that we can stream to or pull up on the TV for like VOD review, which is really fun. Or if, say, uh, the Valorant Championship Series or League of Legends, like those big tournaments are happening, they can do team bonding and watch it in there, or we can have watch parties. There's a new kitchen area, so they can make food and hang out over there. And then we have like a little study VOD review area. So there's a big table that they can hang out, do their homework, play games, use it for VOD review, um, whatever they would like. And each setup, so I would love to get to the day where every player has their own setup. Right now, they kind of do, or about two PCs short. But each station has monitor, PC, headset, and mouse and keyboard. But a lot of the players bring their own equipment just because that's what they're comfortable with, which
Mm-hmm.
is totally fine. Um, but I just upgraded all the peripherals last year. So so we have three different sets of PCs, which is fun. Um, and kind of a headache. So we're working on getting all the PCs to the same level. So somebody can't be like, this one's better. I want to play on that one versus a different one. But as far as peripherals, they're all the same. Everything is standard, except the game day PCs, which are our newest ones, have a higher end headset and game DAC. The something that we've started doing last year is doing in-ears for players as they come if they want, part of their like incoming
Mm-hmm.
package, I guess. Um, because the one thing I learned working on the pro scene is when you have more people around, say a crowd or another team practicing, it gets loud, right? So we want to get that focus as much as possible. So what we did was I tried to create the same setup and I got pretty close other than the pink noise, but we figured that out. So um essentially they get in-ears, plug them into a game deck, and then put their headset over for the mic, and then they can put static in the headset, but have comms and everything in the in-ears to
Hmm.
help eliminate the other distractions as much as possible, which is fun. The kids enjoy it. Um, and then the coach, if they're in Discord at home, then they don't have to worry about it. I wear a headset so I can hear the comms and not get distracted by other people. Um, But so that's part of it in our space. And then we got a production room last year. Previously, it was in my office. Last year, I was able to convince them to give me another space. So I think I have three different spaces in the area that were at my office, the production room, and then the arena. And it's been fun. So when we have LAN events, that's when our production room gets used the most because we have a spot for um, the casters, two PC set up for stream, and then we can also utilize it as another VOD space and an interview space or media, whatever we'd like to do for it. I would love to use it for more content creation, but it's just one of those universal spaces that we can use. So yeah, that's
Nice.
kind of our space.
Nice. Um, I guess before we close this out, I have to ask this question because you've been in this space for at least 5 years now. Do you have any fun success stories? You mentioned your top 30 national ranking, um, but I guess beyond that, have you had any really, I guess, career development or alumni success that's come from the program that you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, so a few things. Tim Connors, our former Rocket League player, Timmy. Sadly, he stepped away from competing, which was heartbreaking, but I knew it was coming. Um, but the best thing is he's now coaching in the collegiate space. He is with Carthage now. And it was as much as it was heartbreaking to see him leave us because he has 2 more years. Well, now 1 more year, he's a junior. I would love to see him grow as a player, but ultimately my job is to move them to the next step and to see him get a coaching position and move up in esports was a highlight for me. Sad. but exciting. I get emotional talking about it because I just know, like, just knowing him as a person and see him grow is great. And now I see what Joe meant when I left. And just seeing these players grow from just a player and then moving up is so much fun to see. And now I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yep. Yep.
So that's like my goal is whether it's coaching or production, whatever you want to do, or a player going up to like the pro scene. Um, a former Valorant player of mine is our Valorant coach. So I guess now I have two former players coaching. Um, but our Valorant coach stuck with us, so I'm not as emotional because I'm like, oh, you're still here. I get to see you. I mean, I still get to see Tim. He's still on campus, so that's fun. Um, and then like highlight careers for myself. Fun thing that we did last week actually. We got to hang out with Twitch. They brought a representative to Wisconsin. They were actually doing stuff with UW Madison's homecoming, but reached out to me and we got to hang out with them for a day and help promote their new program. And I got to hang out with Rally Cry actually on stage for their collegiate football tour and coach um, collegiate 26 to two former Badger players and pro players. So that was really fun.
That's cool.
But yeah, just making those connections and getting our name out there with bigger companies has been really fun and networking. But I'm really hoping that we have more success this semester and this year. I mean, last year we got first place, second place, national rankings, and then two third place national titles. So we had a pretty good season last year. I can't complain. So it's matching that or better this semester. So we'll
It's
see. It's too early to tell. We're only in week 3.
it's always about pushing the bar a little bit further up, right?
Yep.
So,
I'm hoping
um,
for a national title. We'll see.
before we close it out here, I want to give you an opportunity too. If there's any advice that you would like to offer juniors and seniors, or even just high school in general, who may be looking at pursuing esports, either playing collegiate or just getting involved in a program at collegiate, any advice that you would give them?
Yeah, I would say um, play on teams. The biggest thing is what we've noticed is if you just play casually, it's really you're almost a step behind um, in the team aspect, especially if you don't play traditional sports, because that's when the foundations of teamwork and communication happen. And if you aren't playing on a team now, you're just going to be 5 steps behind the people who have been playing on a team. I'm not saying it's not doable, but any leg up that you can get. So if you're just playing on pickup teams in the summer, if you're in the off season, just the more team environment you can get, the better. And then keeping track of your stats. I am a huge stats person, and I blame my father because he took stats of every softball game that I played. I love seeing them. Um, and it helps me and the other coaches just kind of see where maybe your weaknesses might lie and where we can help you be better as a player and a person. And clips are always fun. Brag about yourself, but don't have a high ego. Like be proud of the work you've put in, but also learn to be humble, and just that balance I think
I
is huge.
You are the second or third person that I've talked to so far that has made mention about your solo rank does not mean that you're a good team player, essentially.
Nope.
And I think that's a very interesting take is that once you get into a team composition game, it is vastly different than what you're just queuing up for solo queue.
Yeah.
The play styles, the teamwork, like the execution of different plays and strategies require that much more communication and trust. Um,
Yeah.
and you don't, at least from my experience, you don't have a lot of trust with your teammates sometimes in solo queue. So,
Nope. Yeah, it's getting out of the solo queue mindset is so hard, especially at that age when you can just sit there for 8 hours in solo queue and just rank grind. And at the end of the day, your rank does not matter to me. You could be an immortal solo queuer. Cool, great, awesome, proud of you. But what are you like with a team?
Hmm.
And that mentality is more important to me than your rank. I would happily take somebody in bronze as a Valorant player who is a great team player and will listen and is coachable over somebody who solo queues to Radiant.
I'm going to go ahead
Um,
and clip that and put that in the Discord server right away. So,
Go for it, because if I recruit anybody that you send my way, I will tell them that too. Um, but it's something that I've preached since day one. I will happily take the lower ranking person as long as they're coachable, unless it's Rocket League. Rocket League is the one team that I am very cautious about because it's just so mechanical and
hmm,
vastly different than these other games that if you're a champ trying to play with SSLs, it's just not fun.
yeah, you're not
It's
playing
not
the same game at
remotely,
that point.
yeah. And so that recruiting process is a little different. But when it comes to shooter games, Fortnite, Valorant, Overwatch, Rivals, that's where it's like the low rank, as long as you're coachable, we can work on aim, we can work on mechanics and macros and micros, all those things. Those things you can do on your own, but the teamwork is where you need for those games and trust.
Yeah. Well, Paisley, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been extremely insightful. And once again, thank you. Thank you for giving up some of your Friday here in order to speak with us. I will make sure, too, that we'll include all of your links and contact information in the YouTube description below. And so, yeah, I guess just once again, thank you for taking some time today in order to chat with us.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me.